Chitembwe, by the way, he was my classmate in the university. From, first to third year. Then we went to the School of Law. Then he started a law firm in Mombasa. Then I think he became a judge just before the new constitution, came into effect around 2009, 2010, somewhere there. But, I know Said Chitembwe, and I know I've been in the justice sector now for almost 30 years. And Said Chitembwe is like, there are worse judges than him, that, nobody's touching. There are guys who makes Chitembwe looks like a saint, because they do all kind of things. There's no accountability in the judiciary, in terms of holding judges and magistrates accountable. The system is broken. It doesn't work. It's only when, something very big like Chitembwe, because Chitembwe, there was a lot of videos, I think, made by Sonko. It's only when the public is outraged that the Judicial Service Commission takes action. But the justice system doesn't work. It's broken down. The JSC doesn't work. It's broken down. Complaints are not processed in time. They are not taken seriously. So Said Chitembwe is an outlier. It's one case, that...
You're saying he's among the clean ones?
Relatively clean. You can imagine how dirty the system is.
You've been quite vocal about that. You say it all the time.
I say it all the time.
A mess.
Nobody takes me seriously, unfortunately. But I told you, I practiced law for 30 years. I have never seen a corrupt judiciary of today than any other time in my career. Really? I practiced in the 90s when Moi was, supreme, when he used to control courts. But those times, the courts were political, and they were, corruption was there, but now it's the norm. And I tell guys, actually, young lawyers, I say, we develop, we have developed such a thick skin that you can argue a case knowing that the judge is bribed, and you still argue it so forcefully. You need to be trained. Because you become a special kind of a human being. You know that the judge is bribed. He will rule against you, but you will do your best and pretend that it's not bribed.
So why doesn't anybody else complain?
Corruption in the judiciary has... people have lost... they have lost faith. It has been normalized. It's normal now. Yeah. If you hear some of the stories, people think it is weird, but people lose a lot of money. A lot of money.
AHMEDNASIR, the Constitution is only 12 years old, okay? With the enactment of the Constitution, and even just before that, there was this whole attempt to clean up the judiciary. The radical surgery by Justice Ringera, all that. And then the Constitution comes in, and we bring in Sharad Rao. Let's vet all the judges and magistrates, and let's make sure that only the good ones are left in office. And many are removed. We have the Judicial Service Commission that then now looks at, we need to increase the capacity of our judiciary. You were in the first Judicial Service Commission in the Constitution. You hired many judges. And subsequent JSCs have hired many judges and looked at the conduct of other judges. Are we saying in 12 short years, we've actually come from a moment where we were hopeful of sorting out a system to actually leading it into more rot?
Actually, I tell guys that no country in the world has made attempts like Kenya did in cleaning its judiciary. And no country has spectacularly failed like Kenya has failed. It's not for want of trying that we're in this state of affairs. Kenya has really tried to clean the judiciary, Yeah. We had the radical surgery that removed 50% of the judges of the High Court and the Court of Appeal. Yeah. We had the vetting process, which was not as effective as the radical surgery, but still vetted the judges. But, you can't reform the judiciary in isolation of the larger body politic, The executive, people steal every day. Parliament, people steal every day. Government employees, people steal every day. Why do you expect the judiciary to be clean? In Kenya, they say you eat where you work.
Well,
so the judiciary,
the judges work in the judiciary.
It's not an exception. When we were when I was in the first JC, we were very idealistic. We thought this is a new constitution. We will reform. We we employed people we know we vouched for.
Yeah.
I remember like the Supreme Court when we were creating, we said, let us see guys, some heavyweight academia, guys with certain gravitas. We ensured that, the judges who are there are completely excluded. The people we employed are worse than the people we left. That I can tell you. For me,
So how come?
For me, it's
How
seven
did that
people.
happen?
There are some guys I know. Someone in my classmate, we have practiced law together. He is fairly. Then you take him to the bench, he becomes the worst person you ever see.
What
Why?
changes?
Why? What happens?
It's the greed. I mean, you see. I mean, court cases involve a lot of money. There's a lot of things. There are billions of claims, and what is you see, they get just enticed. And also, to be fair, I mean, lawyers are the ones who pull the deals. They are the ones who know the judges. Some litigants, of course, know the judges. And everybody wants to, have a shortcut. But to be fair, there are many good judges, very, very good judges, very honest, very fair. And I always make the point, especially the Court of Appeal. I mean, if you go to the Court of Appeal, you get justice. The court now is a little bit efficient than it was last time because now there are 30 judges. They want to increase more. But it is, it depends on the individual judge. There are people, when you appear before them, that you will get justice according to the strength of your case. And some, that no matter how good your case is, it's a lost cause. Yes.
Unless you're a higher bidder.
Nowadays.
So is it that the law profession then is the one that is rotten?
Also,
Because you said
sometimes,
it's facilitation.
sometimes it helps, who is in the leadership of the judiciary. For example, when Willie Mutunga was there, I mean, he was well respected. He used to talk about corruption a lot. I tell guys, when Maraga came, you will not see a single speech he made against corruption. You will find it. The last day when he was leaving farewell, he made some speech about corruption. He never talked about corruption. The current CJ is even worse, in all fair. I mean, she's clueless, to be fair.
With regards to corruption?
Of course.
When
Have you seen her talk about corruption in the judiciary? She doesn't. Yes. I mean, she talks about children
Access
rights
to
and those kind of
justice.
things. She talks about access to justice. What justice do you access in Kenyan courts? There's no justice. She sells a product she has no idea about. Yes. When you tell Kenyans, we want access to justice, you are telling Kenyans there's a product called justice
That can be delivered.
that can be accessed, in the shortest time, in the nearest distance, all those kind of things. But the Chief Justice doesn't know any idea about what kind of justice the Kenyan courts dispense. And that's the tragedy. Yes.
What makes you say that she doesn't have an idea?
Because I have eyes and ears. I see and I hear. And I've not had anything during her tenure about fighting corruption. When we have corruption in the highest court, in the lowest court, in the middle courts, everywhere. Yes. And I mean, it's for me, this is a national crisis. But
Okay.
nobody talks about it.